as a thing, once you get in there, like, it's not too bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And so,
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome to tonight's regular board meeting of Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. I have a call the meeting to order at 6:30. And for those of you who can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, that would be wonderful. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Supervisor Kowal.
Here.
Treasurer Roman.
Here.
Trustee Ruggles.
Here.
Trustee Anderson.
Here.
Trustee Voorhees.
Present.
Trustee Smith.
Here.
Clerk Noble here.
Very good. Okay, you have approved the agenda. Next, we have, we have a motion to approve the agenda, please.
Supervisor Kowal, make a motion to approve the agenda.
I have a motion from Clerk Noble, looking for
support
support.
that.
I have support from Andrew Voorhees. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next item is public comment. Public comment is you have something you'd like to chat about. You'll have 3 minutes to do so. You need to come up to the podium and identify yourself for a recorder for your name and address. Any takers at this time? Generally for items that are not on the agenda. Mr. Powell.
Hello, Board. My name's Michael Powell at 4700 Cornerstone Drive. First of all, I wanted to thank you, Board, for serving. This township needs you, and thank you very much. And I also wanted to thank you for, in the past, appointing me as a part-time employee here in the township. But I wanted you to know that last week or the week before, I had to resign from that position simply because I was told that I could not offer my services on a board or a commission but because of state law, if I was an employee of the township. Therefore, I handed in my resignation. The supervisor accepted it, and today I signed an agreement to be a consultant, an engineering consultant to the township instead, which leaves me open to be able to serve on your discretion, the supervisor's discretion on any boards or commissions that you might want to appoint me to. I wanted to thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else at this time? Seeing none, going on to consent agenda. Consent agenda is a list of revenue expenses, check disbursements, department reports. Any questions or comments from the board on the consent agenda? Otherwise, looking for a motion.
Supervisor Kowal, make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion from the clerk, Mr. Noble. I'm looking for support.
Support.
Support from Mr. Roman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you. Minutes. Approval of minutes from the regular board meeting of April 15th, 2025, and approval of the minutes of the special board meeting of April 22nd, 2025. Any questions or comments from the board?
Motion to approve the minutes
I have a
from
motion.
April the 15th
And the 22nd?
and the 22nd.
I have a motion from Mr. Anderson to approve the minutes. Looking for support?
Support.
Support from Mr. Noble. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Next item, 7A, Police Department presentation. Chief, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, board members. Jess, if you come on up. Perfect. All right, here tonight with Jessica as her husband, Justin. Justin, come give me a big hug.
Oh, you know that's right.
Justin and I have been friends for a long time. He's a good dude. We always hug each other when we see her. He's a good supporter of the police department and an excellent support. You go ahead and sit back down, Justin. It's not your day. Big supporter of the police department and a huge supporter of Jessica in her police endeavors. I want to introduce a couple of her daughters, Brooke and Bella. You guys wave your hand. Oh, super excited. Appreciate you guys so much. I'm glad you guys are here. Her father, Tim, right there. Stepmom, Mary. Brother, Matt. All right, taking pictures. The nieces, Hannah and Reese. Hi, guys. Best friend, her bestie, she has a bestie. I first met Shelley. Jessica got injured on duty, and I ordered her to go to the urgent care. And I didn't think I took my time getting there, but I went there, and I meet her bestie, Shelley. She jumps up, oh, I'm her best friend, Shelley. And I'm here, I'm like, what are you doing here, Shelley? And she was there to help Jessica out. That's the first time I met Shelley. Great person with her daughter, Lola. Is Lola here? All right, how you doing, Lola? All right, Officer Snow grew up in Farmington Hills and graduated from Harrison High School in '97. She was a stay-at-home mom raising her 3 daughters while attending and graduating from the Oakland Community College in 2012 with an associate's degree in criminal justice. She attended the Oakland Police Academy, where I was a DT and PT instructor. We're going to reenact the push. We're not. Okay, we're not going to reenact the push-ups. Where I would. So much joy in yelling at her to get up and get down and start running. And I knew she was going to be a good officer, and we are lucky that she applied here in White Lake. She attended Oakland Police Academy, where she served as a class president for the graduating class of 2012-2. She worked as a police officer for a short time at Wall Lake PD and Oakland County Sheriff's Office. And then she began working for White Lake Township Police Department as an officer in 2013. Since beginning her career with the White Lake Township Police Department, she has worked as an officer, a school resource officer, and a detective. Officer Snow continued her education and graduated from Cleary University with a bachelor's degree in business management in June of 2024. She's a sexual harassment and rape prevention instructor, a rape aggression defense instructor, and is a defensive tactic instructor with the Oakland County Police Academy. She is a forensic evidence specialist, defensive tactic instructor, and a union steward. She has received several meritorious service life-saving awards, a water rescue commendation, a Fraternal Order of Police Life-Saving Award in 2017 and 2018, and a Life-Saving Valor Award from the 100 Club. She will be the first female officer in the history of White Lake Township Police Department to be promoted to the rank of sergeant. So please give Jessica a round of applause. We'll fire back. Right there.
I had the opportunity to work with Jessica at Wild Lake, and I knew she would be a superstar, and very excited and pleased to watch her success, being a police officer and then come over as a Rose Township clerk. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and swear. Say happy. I do solemnly swear affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of Police Sergeant for the Township of White Lake, County of Oakland, and the State of Michigan, according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Badge? You don't have the badge? Does Justin have the badge? All right.
Do we have a badge?
I need your badge.
There's a quick demotion.
Takes it off.
All right, Justin, now you can come up and soak up the limelight.
Hold on.
That's funny.
There you go. Welcome. Oh, awesome. Congratulations.
Good job.
Proud of you.
Congratulations. Do I have to treat you different at Planet Fitness now?
I want to know.
Okay,
Sorry. Way
thanks.
to go, Jessica. Yay.
Good, Jess.
Congrats.
All right, congratulations, Sergeant Snow.
Okay, next item, fire department business here. Step up, chief.
Thank you. Mr. Supervisor, with your permission, I'd like to bring my department members up
Absolutely.
and support, with peer support here with the candidates. Mark, stay right up in front. Joe, stay.
You can come
Very good. What a
closer.
cool night, right?
Okay.
To be able to sit with the police department and see a promotional tonight and then have two guys for badge pinning. This is great. This is a great time for the fire department. We're excited to do this for our guys. Tonight will be my last official board meeting. So it'll be tough to get through, but we're here to recognize firefighter EMT Mark Brookles and firefighter EMT Nate Jenks. Both recently completed their one-year probationary period. And they're here tonight to be recognize their hard work, their dedication to the organization and the community. When an individual is hired into the career ranks of the fire department, this one-year probationary period allows us to ensure that they're a good fit into the organization. It's an evaluation process. We capitalize on their strengths and we help to improve on their weaknesses. We measure how well they adapt to given scenarios and that they exhibit self-confidence in a non-arrogant manner. I'm proud to say in 1 year's time, both firefighters have fulfilled our probationary expectations and have earned the right to be pinned and recognized in this achievement. The badge and oath symbolizes their willingness to uphold the best interests of the community and the organization. And I'm going to introduce them. We're going to talk individually, talk about them. So first, have firefighter EMT Mark Burkle step up. Mark's kind of the exception to the rule with the department as it applies to probationary personnel. He's been with us as a paid-on-call since 2011. So he was already a fire equipment operator when he came to us. He knew the system, he knew the organization. And then he's currently one of the department's drone pilots. He's a certified fire service and BLS instructor. He's trained and certified to the levels of Fire Officer 1 and 2. He's a field training officer and currently one of the key administrators with our recruit and part-time program. Mark's recent career, before he came to us full-time, he was with the United States Probation Department as a senior probation officer. He's a graduate from Lakeland High School. He has a bachelor's degree from Oakland University, sociology with concentration with criminal justice. Mark is married to his wife, Brianne, who's going to be pinning him tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, just welcome and his wife and Mark here tonight, and we want to give him congratulations. You're up, Nate. And we're also going to recognize Nate Jenks. Nate came to us after serving 8 years as a paid-on-call firefighter with Farmington Hills. He's the third Farmington Hills guy we picked up. So certainly their loss is our gain. Before starting a career with White Lake Township, he worked for Domino's in their IT department with cybersecurity. Nate's a graduate from Livonia Stevenson High School. He holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Ferris State. He also holds a master's degree in cybersecurity from U of D Mercy. Nate's also just completing his paramedic program in June. He's married to his wife, Alexa, and they're expecting their first child this September. Alexa will be pinning Nate tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please, round of applause for Nate. We're going to swear both of you guys in at the same time. Step right up with the clerk.
Right hand, please. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of firefighter for the Township of White Lake, County of Oakland, and the state of Michigan, according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Jason's got your badge. There you go. I didn't stay there. Because I knew this was going to happen. Interesting. Very good. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you, welcome. Again.
Congratulations.
Mark me your signature right here. Right there on the top. Then Nate, you're right there. Don't go anywhere. Thank you. Mr. Supervisor, we have one last presentation, fairly quick. It's just, tonight, this is an individual courtesy. When probably within the last year, White Lake Township became an advanced life support agency. So we upgraded our medical service to the community from basic life support to advanced life support. Our first member that was an EMT we sent through paramedic school just recently completed it. And I wanted to recognize him tonight. Come on up, Joe. We want to acknowledge and congratulate firefighter paramedic Joe Dillett for successful completion of paramedic training and passing the National Registry exam for licensing. This program is difficult, it's tiring, and it's demanding. It's the highest level of pre-hospital care, and it's about a 14-month program, and it consists of 1,000 to 1,200 hours of training. That's classroom, clinical, and lab time. And I can tell you, when I went through it back in the 80s, and the hours have increased, and it was tiring then. So I know what these guys go through. It's just a lot of study time. Because there's a significant difference between an EMT and a paramedic. I just wanted to bring that to light. An EMT, a lot of people, they kind of join them, but they're not joined. An EMT is an individual who can do pre-hospital care, but they can bandage, they can apply oxygen. There's certain levels they can do. A paramedic is different treatment modes. A paramedic carries a cardiac monitor. They can do EKGs. They can treat lethal cardiac arrhythms. We carry a drug box. They can treat with pain control. So it's the highest level. And I want to congratulate them for completing the program. Job well done.
Way to go, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Gentlemen, we're all set, guys. Thank you.
Gentlemen. Chief Holland.
Yes, sir.
Front and center, please. Face the crowd. It is with very mixed emotion that I received Chief Holland's notice of retirement. 40 years wasn't enough, okay? And it's, 40 what? 40, 39, 40?
40 years.
40 years. That is probably a record here at the township. I wish I could give him a gold fire truck on his way out, but public purchasing power doesn't allow me to do that. So at this time, I would like to give him the thanks and the praise to his department for his service to this community over these many, many years. It has made this township much safer, and people can sleep a little bit better at night knowing that your welfare is being looked out for from our leader here of the fire department. So I wish him well on his retirement. I'm sure we'll come up with something here. I can't tell you what, can't let the cat out of the bag yet. But I wanted to give him the recognition at tonight's meeting, and I'm glad the staff is able to be here and the timing was just right. So Chief, I certainly thank you for your service.
Thank you for those kind words. I appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Gentlemen, retreat.
me get out.
Chief, whenever you can sign it, just have them sign it and then just bring it back tomorrow. Oh, you got them signed it already? Awesome, thank you.
Are you gonna give it a minute? Are you gonna give them a minute to
Yeah.
clear, or all those people here for your meeting?
Probably.
I thought it was gonna be more.
It's all right, this can.
Well, it's always the ones that complain the most.
26.
People need to be here, need to be part of it.
You probably will.
We'll give it a minute here.
Mike's name.
26, June 26.
2 o'clock, right?
You said it's 2 to 4? I had to read it somewhere. Maybe it's just because I. Okay.
Okay, next item on the agenda is public hearing. This is a public hearing to hear comments and comments only on the improvements known as Round Lake Southwest Sewer Main Special Assessment District. At this time, you will have an opportunity, anyone interested in speaking, to come up and have 3 minutes to state your name and what it is you would like to comment on. I will call you in an orderly fashion to do so. You will raise your hand and be brought up at that time. So at this moment, I would like to make a motion to open the public hearing to hear comments on the improvements known as the Round Lake Southwest Sewer Main Special Assessment District. That is in the form of a motion.
Support.
I have motion support, roll call vote.
Supervisor Kowal?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles?
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Voorhees?
Yes.
Treasurer Roman?
Yes.
And Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Okay, we are now in public hearing to hear comments on the improvements known as Round Lake Southwest Sewer Main Special Assessment District. Anyone at this time who would like to make a comment on this, please raise your hand to be identified by myself, and we will have you state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak at the podium. Any takers at this time? Yes, sir. You, sir, with the hat.
Please, when you come up, please state your name and address, please.
Steve Zagurny, 1320 Clearwater. Less comment, more questions about the information on this project. We'll be receiving maps of this and what the process is going to be.
The project is available online. You can see what's going on. This is really just public comment only. Okay, so.
Okay, I guess my comment is concerned that I live on a section of Clearwater that is quote unquote on an island, and our only access to and from our 7 homes is across the bridge. And our concern is during the process of installing this pipeline, what happens with our access to our homes over the bridge area?
Directional boring project, so won't be impeded.
There won't be any impediment, okay. This is just sewer and not water?
Sewer only, correct.
Sewer only. Is there any consideration given to senior citizens for the charging of this project?
I beg your pardon?
Any consideration given for senior citizens for the charging of the project?
Again, this is public comment. If you have questions, I would love to see you formulate them and submit them to the DPS department.
Okay.
Attention to Mr. Aaron Potter.
Do you have, is there a process where I can find the website?
That counter right there,
Okay,
Monday through Friday.
okay. Comment is that I hope we have some kind of consideration for senior citizens on Social Security.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Red jacket, sweater.
My name is Kevin Perone. I live at 9645 Caprice. Now, is this in full effect? Like, this is going down the boring project? There's nothing I can do to protest it or anything like that?
Well, I mean, this is where your public comment can be heard. If you are for it or opposed to it, now would be the time to speak your opinion.
Well, I am opposed to it just because that I do have a septic system that is fairly kind of new. I mean, it's 20 years new, but it's not failing by any means. And I am all about helping my neighbor move a couch, help, you change a tire, whatever. But to pay for a septic system that is failing around the lake and everything, that is not my business. Even though like I'm in the front of the land, I know the pipeline runs through that. I do not think that I am responsible for paying for that. So, because I don't want to hook up to it. Unless my septic I think sewer systems are great. I do. I really do. But the fact that mine is not failing, and they haven't failed. There's many properties north of M59 that have septic systems. There's no sewers over there. Why do I have to have a septic system in my neighborhood? Is my question.
Okay. Again, if you have those questions, I would direct them to Mr. Aaron Potter at the DPS department. This is strictly a public comment.
Of course. But it's almost like saying like, so my roof is failing, so can I have the whole neighborhood pay for my roof? Just saying. So, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anyone else? In the back there.
Good evening, Board. My name is Mary Luark, 1476 Orchard Street, and I oppose the sewers. I agree with Kevin that I understand the people on the lake wanting the sewers, but why do we on the back lots have to pay for what they want? We don't need them. I just put $30,000 into a septic and a 200-foot well. So I don't want to I don't want to pay another 50 grand to hook up to sewers. So I'm totally against it, and I have many questions, so you're saying that I have to give those to the water department?
Correct.
And then I was also told by Dave, the assessor, that we would get a breakdown tonight at this meeting?
As we proceed.
Okay. Okay, I guess that's all I have to say for now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. He's going to.
Thank you to the board for inviting me to speak.
Can I get your name and address,
Oh, I'm
please?
sorry, I apologize. Wayne Patterson, 9530 Cooley Lake Road. I did file a formal letter of protest with the department. In essence, it's a request for information that I have not really gotten yet. Specifically, I have not received any specifics as to the benefit to the property owner. And according to state documents, benefit is defined as being an increase in property value. And I haven't seen that yet as part of the, information that's been provided to me. Also, I feel that the apportionment is disproportionate. It's not really taking into consideration the benefit that I or other property owners might receive in comparison to the benefit of other property owners. Simply taking the number of parcels and the number of units, 103 units, and dividing it evenly among all of those, what was it? The cost of $1,330,000, dividing that evenly among the properties. My concern is that it's not proportionate to the benefit. So again, I have filed that just to make the board aware of that, and I appreciate the opportunity to comment.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else at this time? Yes. Come forward.
Name is Patricia Ann Smith, 1283 Grove Point Drive. My question is, we're looking at sewers coming in, but I brought this up at our last meeting. There's a toxic dump, the Chapel dump, that's been there for years. It was there when I grew up. It's for sale right now. I just drove by it. Any consideration of our groundwater? We're looking at our sewers, but our lake is a consideration, but it could be polluted by the dump that's there. What can any light be put on when water would come down, or the contamination of that? Are you aware that it's for sale? There's a for sale sign on it?
The only thing I'll tell you is the reason water won't come down because water is nowhere close to get there at this point in time. In the future, we would love to see that happen, I'm sure, but that's all I can tell you. And again, these are questions. If you have questions like this, I would really strongly recommend that you come in and have a conversation with the water
Department. Well,
DPS.
just to make everybody aware, last week, Oakland County, every year, they test our water on Grove Point Drive for contamination. They check it, and there's been some people down the street that have had to put in new wells because theirs were contaminated. Now, we're talking about trying to save our lake, but if it's contaminating somebody's drinking water, it could be contaminating the lake also, just to make a point. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else at this time? Yes.
Hello, my name's Ron Kraus. I'm at 1475 Midway, and I oppose the sewer because I believe we've got some bogus information as far as if this cost was more than 10% of the projected price, then we were going to have a repetition. Well, apparently, it looks to me like it's a little bit more than 10%. So I would like to see a revote, because I think it's going to be much different. Again, I oppose. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else at this time? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You'll have to kind of worm your way up there because the microphone won't pick you up. If you can.
I know that.
Ken can bring him the portable mic.
Huh?
The portable mic here somewhere?
No, I got it. I can get up. I can walk. I just can't stand. I got a bad back, so it's hard for me to stand up a
Understand,
long
sir.
time. Yeah, my name is Bruce Greenberg, 1253 Gold Point Drive. I saw the amount, but I didn't see any kind of breakdown of what it's gonna cost. What is the charge for sewage and that? Are we gonna get that before it's finalized?
Yeah, there'll be a little information yet tonight. This is just a public hearing for.
Okay,
for
so there
stating
will
your
be
point.
another hearing. Okay,
There's more tonight to tonight's meeting. Okay,
okay, yeah, I was just wondering.
okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I-
Anyone else at this time? Come forward, sir.
Come on through. Oh, you're fine, sir. Okay, I don't want to run anybody over, especially if the police are still around.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Ryan Brown. I live at 9508 Round Lake. And I guess I'll be the only one here to say that I do support it. We moved in about a year ago. When we were looking at the house, we heard people talking about this, and it's kind of a selling point that this area was possibly going to have, plumbing coming. So I just want to say that I do support it. I think it would add value to our house and, add value to the houses in that area. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else at this time?
Hello. Charles Durrell, 9360 Cooley Lake Road. And I was actually going to say close to what the lady spoke about the water situation. And I know that you just basically touched base on why that's not possible for this plan. But I do want to make it known on the record of this report that there is a lot of bad water along the Round Lake, Cooley Lake area. And my biggest concern is that if we put this sewage in now or anytime soon, that the county will step in and start making a bigger concern of the water. And we're gonna be basically paying twice to have the same work done twice, basically digging right up to where everybody's been, tapped into sewage. So it'd be nice to be able to at least touch base with the county to find out what their time frame is in terms of getting water nearby so that we're not doing the same project twice and paying for it twice. So last thing, I don't think anybody wants to be back here in 7 to 10 years and come to find out we have to put another budget together just to, re-dig back into the same areas to put water in, since we were just here now doing this for the sewage. So that's my greatest concern. So, thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Anyone else at this time? Seeing none, I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing. Looking for support? Support. I have motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. The public hearing is now closed. Yes, Mr. Roman.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everyone from Round Lake understands that this project is strictly for the sewer main. It doesn't include any money for hooking up to the sewer. You're not required to hook up to the sewer just because there's a sewer main there. You're not required to hook up unless your septic system fails. I just wanted to make sure you all understood that. Secondly, I just want to make you all aware of an Oakland County program. It's through the Oakland County Neighborhood and Housing Development Department. It's a loan program for those that are going to need help if this project goes through. All loans are 100% deferred. It's a loan in which the principal is repaid at a future time when you sell, when you move, or if you lease your home, and there are no payments or interest charged on the principal. It's a great program. You do have to qualify based on income. I'm not going to try to give you the specifics, but again, I wanted to make you all aware that, especially if you're on a fixed income, there is available help. So, and I can give you the number if anyone's got a pen and they want that number. It is 248-858-5401. You can also go online. You'll find it under Oakland County. But again, 248-858-5401. That's it, Rick. That's all I had.
Okay. We're required under law to have certain procedural processes, and one of them was the public hearing, which is just that, a public hearing. We'll delve into a few of the other things here. They're going to give you more information, and we're going to make some determinations based on the information that we have. Mr. Roman is absolutely correct. There are programs that are available. And then there are programs that the township has, which is emergency sewer hookup program, that the board had the wisdom to create a number of years ago, where a certain amount of money was set aside so that in the event that the sewer system is out in front of your house and you have a catastrophic failure, that there is a program to go through for that. I will tell you that any one of you who have put a septic field in know that it's expensive. And I will also tell you that if any of you have put a field in prior to November 15th, 2015, when the world of the septic industry turned upside down in Oakland County, because the standards went so far in a different direction from what they were to what they are, that homes that, whether you're on the lake or off the lake, depending on the soils conditions, and we have a lot of them that are off the lake that the soil conditions are bad in a lot of areas, that the cost of some of these fields can be $40,000 to $50,000, and depending if it's a special pre-treatment system, et cetera, they can get prohibitively expensive. And here's the real kick in the ass about that, okay, and that's just the way I'm going to call it. When your system fails, you got to hook it up now. So you don't have the ability to stretch that payment out over time. It's Johnny on the spot, come up with the money, one way, one how. By having the sewer main in front of your house, it sort of acts as an insurance policy so that not if, when your system fails, you'll be able to tie into that main. I believe that this is over a 10-year, 15-year assessment, so it makes it much more palatable. If your system fails and you qualify for the emergency sewer hookup program, then you can petition the township for that particular program, and that also is available over time, over a period of time, as a special assessment district. It's kind of hard to explain, but it makes it easier than having to shell out all that money at one time. We have had people that have had to go in and refinance their house was paid for, and they had to go refinance their house because they had to put in a $50,000 septic field. I mean, that's nuts, but we don't set that up. These are county standards. So what we're trying to do is to look at areas where we know we have groundwater issues as far as a higher rate of failure on fields in certain areas and try to do a preemptive strike, so to speak, and say, okay, what can we do here to mitigate the problem as much as possible for the inevitable? It may not happen to you, but it very well could happen to your neighbor, or it could very well happen to the person you sell your house to 6 months after that it's there. Now, two of you asked about what's the value. The value is you've got an insurance policy out there that if it fails, your house won't be, degraded in value because you don't have a functioning sewer system. It also allows you to not have to have a rest spot, in other words, where your field is, and then a secondary location, if it's even remotely possible on your lot size, for a secondary backup field. This takes all that away. Should you want to, for example, add another bedroom to your house, or add second floor to your house, or do something to your house, this system being there allows you that ability, because now your land is not put into that bank of where it has to be reserved for a septic system. So if you sit in your house and you do nothing, you're good. If your system fails, you've got a fail-safe backup. If you want to sell your home in the future, your home has more value because the next person that comes in to buy your house may want to add that second or third or fourth or whatever they want to do to it, and they'll see the value in that. And there are a lot of statistics out there that back up everything I'm saying about added value when sewer is present. And again, there's no requirement from the township or the county for you to tie into that main. It's just establishing the main, establishing the district, and then in the event, God forbid, you have a failure, you've got a backup plan that will cost you a lot less money. So that's kind of that. We'll get into some of the nuts and bolts of this now, but I wanted to just kind of get that out there so everybody really understands the intent of this. It's there to ultimately be an improvement to the area. And plus it adds, does a lot of improvement for water quality. There's a lot of studies done. Pontiac Lake is a very good example. Their water quality has improved immensely over the last few years because they have sewer over there now. And people are over there that were just like you, saying the same thing, are over there going, man, I'm glad we got sewer. We don't have to deal with that anymore. And it does make a difference. And so everybody will have their own thought process. It's a personal process, but just understand it's the intention to improve it and have a better amenity for everyone there. And it's also a health matter too. So at this time.
Hey, Rick.
Yes.
I'm just curious if Dave thinks maybe he can speak just a little bit to the process, just kind of the basics.
Well, yeah, I was gonna have him get there on that.
As far as appealing the special assessment itself, or?
No.
How many, the purpose of the resolutions, the purpose of the public hearings, how many steps in the process?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a petition-based special assessment that was petitioned in late 2023. The board took action on an intention resolution in January of 2024. In the petition, there's 100 parcels, 57 parcels signed the petition wanting to proceed with this process. 43 parcels did not sign, so that either means no, they're opposed to it, or didn't care enough to get involved in the process. On the map, on the screen is just the indicated yes parcels versus no parcels. Yes are indicated in green, red are that did not sign the petition. The petition was originally priced at $1,330,000. And when the board gave authorization to move forward with their intention, it authorized Aaron to to go out for bid for engineering, which DLZ got the bid for engineering. And then, Mike might be able to speak to the technical stuff they did in between them. But now we opened bids on May 6th for the cost for the project. We've noticed this hearing to discuss that. If we move forward with establishing the parcels in the district, then we'll go to the next public hearing where we'll consider the price per parcel to be assessed.
When is that?
We're noticing that for the June meeting here tonight, but that's to the board's pleasure. They can do it in the June meeting. It could be July, I suppose, whatever the board's pleasure.
Okay, so that's just some more of the information to this process. It's not just a simple, one second, sir. It's not just a simple fix. Yes,
Yeah,
Mike.
and there was a gentleman that brought up the issue of the overage in the bids and the quotes, the total cost. So if this project moves forward, I think the petition amount was $1,330,000. Okay, if we add 10% to that, that would be the max that would be split up between all the participants. Anything over that, the township's water system would have, or sewer system would actually have to incur that cost overage. So,
That would be our tax dollars, right?
excuse me?
That would be our tax dollars.
No, that would be sewer fees. That comes out of sewer fees, not property taxes. Anything else?
And currently, you're not on the sewer, so that's not yours. So,
Yeah, the sewer system is,
Did you take those as yes votes? You gotta have 50%, more than 50%, right?
we're at 57%.
7%.
Are you counting the people who didn't vote, are you counting them as yes votes?
We're counting those as no vote.
You should look at the petition. If you look at the original petition, we have it here, I think you should take a look at that.
Would we like him to come up and identify himself?
Excuse me, you're going to have to come forward and identify yourself because the folks can't hear you that are out there.
Okay, I understand that it has to be over 50%.
To the microphone.
Correct. My name is Ron Kraus, 1475 Midway. From what I understand, it has to be over 50% yes to get this even moving. If you look at this petition, there's a lot of people that didn't sign it. And I don't understand how you're going to get 50% when you don't have, looks like 20% didn't sign it. The yeses are supposed to sign this petition. This is the bogus information I'm talking about. Andrew walked around and said, oh, if your system fails, you have to hook up. Not if your land perks. If your land perks, you don't have to hook up. So why is this not, why are you always assuming that your system's failed and that's it? If your land perks, you can get a system.
Yeah,
I'm just
Aaron,
saying. So anyways, you might want to look at this original petition that came around.
Okay.
Sir, of course, I wasn't party to your conversation with the petitioner, Andrew. What it sounds like he was referring to is the state public health code requires connection to available main if it's within 200 feet of your parcel. So.
If it's failed.
if it's failed. So if you have a sewer there, the township doesn't mandate connections, but if there was a sewer project that moved forward in your neighborhood and that sewer goes in front of your house, at that time, if your septic system failed, then the state code would require you to connect to the available sewer.
Okay, again, you might want to look at this, because it doesn't look like 50% to me. Just saying, I have the original.
I can't believe what this gentleman has in his hand right here in the meeting. I'd be glad to review it and compare it to the petition that was turned in to the assessing department.
And that's right here, you want it?
Yeah, if you could give it to our assessor, that'd be fine.
I'm afraid to give it to you, actually. Yeah, I really am. Because I feel like we're being railroaded here. I really do.
We can take a photo of
No,
what he
let Dave address it.
If you'd like to call my office, we'll make an appointment, bring that in, I'll make a copy of it right at the copier with you. You can take your original back, and then I'd be glad to sit down and look at it and show you can compare the petition I have to that one and see what, if there are discrepancies.
And what's that gonna do? Is that gonna help us, people that don't want it? I mean, it seems like we're getting railroaded. We don't have a choice.
Okay, I understand,
You
sir.
know,
That is your
that's-
opinion, and I respect it.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
All right?
you.
In the meantime, make an appointment with Dave so you can verify.
Okay, I will before I leave.
It'll be in your best interest. Thank you. Okay. Moving on. So this is the resolution of 250009 to determine sufficiency of petitions and necessity of improvements and designate special assessment district to be known as the Round Lake Southwest Sewer Main Special Assessment District. You care to add anything, David, at this time? Okay.
I would just like to
Mr.
say,
Potter.
to any members of the public that spoke at public comment, if you have questions or you would like to discuss any of the details of the project or any of the, applicable laws or anything like that, give us a call at White Lake DPS. We are more than happy to, make an appointment with you if you wanted to, look at plans, look at any of our information. We can definitely spend some time with you guys and answer any of your questions. Just again, public comment. The board is not allowed to engage people in a debate in public comment. They're just basically hearing public comments. But in our office, we can certainly, discuss anything that we'd like for as long as you'd like. That's all.
Questions or comments from the board at this time?
Just a comment, the hearing on the special assessment roll shall be held on the 17th day of June, 2025 at 6:30 PM at this same location. Anything else, council?
Assuming
You
that
have one more
resolution passes.
gentleman then.
Yeah.
That'd like to make a comment.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the $100,000, that's just to put the line in, that doesn't count the cost to hook up.
I don't know where you're getting that amount, sir. That's,
The million he means.
I mean, $1 million,
yes, the 1 point,
that's just to bring in the line.
correct.
Then if we have to hook up,
There's additional fees on top of that,
okay,
correct. But again,
that's not the whole total.
no, not, if your system is functioning, you're good. So,
Because I know some places where they bring in the sewers, you don't hook up right away, your price goes up.
not on, no, your assessment. Once this assessment is established, that's the cost of that pipe in the ground. It's done and paid for. Okay?
Okay.
All right?
Would you mind saying your name one more time?
Yeah,
for
what
our
was your name again,
recorder?
sir?
Bruce Greenberg.
Bruce Greenberg.
No, you got it.
Okay.
Bruce Greenberg.
Greenberg. Thank you. Thank you, Liz. Okay. Okay, so Resolution 25009 to determine sufficiency of petition and necessity of improvements and designating special assessment district to be known as the Round Lake Southwest Sewer Main Special Assessment District. Seeing as there has been a sufficient 57% to the yay, of this and the fact that it's an environmentally sensitive area and a health improvement to the community as a whole and to the residents of this particular area. The resolution 25099 to determine the sufficiency of petitions and necessity of improvements and designating special assessment district to be known as the Round Lake Southwest Sewer Main Special Assessment District is thereby moved. Looking for support.
Support.
I have motion, I have support, roll call vote.
Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Trustee Anderson,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes, Supervisor Kowal.
Yes. Motion carries. Next item, request for tentative, key word there, tentative award of construction contract, Round Lake Southwest Sanitary Sewer SAD. Mr. Potter, do you care to add anything?
Sure. We had public bid opening for the construction of the project on May 6th. Received 2 qualified bids from qualified bidders. The bid tabulation is attached to your packet. So DPS is requesting Township Board to tentatively award the construction contract to the low bidder, Superior Excavating, pending the confirmation of the roll hearing, which would be the June hearing. So if the project does not go forward for whatever reason, the June hearing, then the award is not awarded. So this would all be contingent on that. So we're requesting the tentative award of the construction contract pending the confirmation of the roll for an amount not to exceed $1,123,258 plus 10% contingency on the construction contract.
Very good. Any further comment?
So, correction, we are not awarding the 10% contingency to the contractor. We are authorizing that on the contract.
Correct.
On the project.
I knew what you meant. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to award the tentative contract in the amount of $1,123,258 to Superior Excavating.
Pending the confirmation
Pending
of the
the
roll.
confirmation of the roll. Thank you.
I'll support that.
I have a motion of support, roll call vote.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Trustee Anderson,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman.
Yes.
I believe I said yes. Clerk Noble, yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries.
One more comment, right?
Yes, sir.
Just one more comment for the Round Lake people. And Aaron, correct me if I speak incorrectly, but as far as if this project goes through, once that sewer main would go in, you do not pay any quarterly sewer fees. It's only once you tap in, if you actually tap into the system to where you're using it, at that point in time, you would be charged quarterly sewer fees.
Quarterly fee.
Aaron, what is it right now?
206.
206 quarterly. Yes, ma'am.
What about maintenance on the grinder pumps? Will we be
Uh,
responsible for that?
That's only if you tap in, and your quarterly sewer fee that you would be paying, the 206, would go toward that. So your grinder pump would be covered.
Yeah, you don't have to have additional maintenance fees for your grinder pump. That's actually managed through the sewer system through a contract for operation and maintenance with Oakland County Water Resource Commissioner, who is our contractor for that maintenance.
What is the price to tap in?
It varies because it's a unit price depending on the house. Each installation is different. Average is about 22,000, give or take, township-wide so far. But, we can, if you want to give me a call tomorrow or whenever you have some time, we can talk about that. And I could probably give you a pretty good rough off-the-cuff number as far as, an estimate.
Do we have our own contractors tap in?
The township requires the township's contractor to do the installation because they're licensed and bonded and it's been competitively bid. Because the sewer system overall is managing and operating the system, we do require that stuff to be handled through the township.
Man, probably you.
So if you tap it in the beginning, it's one part.
It's a little late, isn't it? Yeah, but you should review it.
No, that'd be the same cost. They're individually, you'll get a line item estimate for the connection based on the unit price contract. And it'll have everything from the cost of the station, the cost of, each linear foot of different pipe that they use, all the fittings, all the permit costs, restoration, MDOT permits, anything. That'll all be included in it if applicable. But just to keep the meeting on track, you guys, again, can contact me at my office. I'm Aaron Potter, Director of White Lake DPS. My office is right across the hall there, that front counter. Come in anytime. I'd be happy to answer any of these questions with any of y'all, and we can go through, all the details of the project that you're interested in seeing.
Yes, go ahead,
That's
Counsel.
all I was going to mention is just encourage the residents. I know there's a lot of questions and this is new to many of you, a unique process that you haven't experienced yet. But Director Potter is an expert in this field and we're lucky to have him. So I really encourage you to come in and get your questions answered and we're all here to help you as well. So reach out to us, but you would want to contact him first really because he's the guy that can answer all those questions for you.
Great. Yes, Counselor.
Just about the contract, just so that I understand the process, Mike, you then notify the superior, the contractor, that they've been awarded the bid subject to, in your standard language, which would require a mutually agreed upon contract approved by the township, as well as the bonds and all of that.
Correct. Yeah, we would go through a process and obviously nothing would move forward until formal role is established and.
So we use the EJCDC contract documents for construction contracts. That stuff is already done. It includes all of the required bonds, details of the specifications of the contract, all of the closeout documentation, pay application schedules, pay application forms, all of that is included in it.
So the contract won't come back to the township board?
No, it won't.
So then Rick would need authorization to sign whatever documents are necessary to?
Potentially.
Essentially, when it's.
Are you asking that we add that to the?
I just want to understand the process, because there's no contract in here. It's just the bid. So I thought it was just an award of the bid. I didn't realize that you'd already negotiated a contract?
No, they were, the contract and all of the.
Bond
That's
documents?
all included into the bid process. So when they bid on the process, they get the entire contract to review.
It's all subject to review anyway, so we'll have a review.
How many organizations were the bid sent to?
The request for bids actually got posted on several, BidNet is one that township uses a lot. We directly advertise for bids to any contractor that's completed a successful project with the township. But yeah, most of the time it's BidNet or there's another one we use.
That's the one we use.
I'm really going to suggest that you get a hold of Aaron and ask him whatever questions you might have. He can be a little more precise and spend some one-on-one time with you.
I just had a question about the grinder and how it's hooked up with the electricity and that.
That's all part of the installation process. We don't even have the pipe in the ground yet. And that's a whole different phase of it. And again, that's something that you in your lifetime may never have to do, you know?
And he can call Aaron.
Call me at White Lake DPS.
Call Aaron, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can I just say one thing?
Yes, sir.
I'll make it quick.
Don't forget his name and address.
Sir, can I get your name and address?
Yes, sir.
And sir, you back there in the blue shirt, can I get your name and address first?
My name's Andrew Palmer.
Please.
One second.
Josh Allen, 1261 Grove Point.
Thank you.
Because for the record.
For the record.
Okay, go ahead.
My name's Andrew Palmer. I was the person who went around with Bancraft and got the signatures for
our residents. And I just want to say something to the board and to the residents. If we're looking at this projected price that he just said, now this is projected, this is not word for word, $1,232,258. That's divided by 15 years. Comes out to $11,232. If you were to divide that, that's per resident. Divide that by the 15 years, it's $748.80 a year for 15 years. If you were to divide that by 12 months, that's $62 a month for 15 years to put a sewer in our streets. And yes, Chairman, I did give as much information that we got from Potter and David. Honestly, did not go out and say anything negative or told them they must. We left everything very open. If it was misunderstood, then it was misunderstood. But Bancroft and I wanted to be truthful with our residents. Thank you.
Understand. Thank you. And thank you for your efforts. Okay, moving on.
Okay.
I just want to thank so many residents for coming. I appreciate you all, your comments, and we do hear you. So thank you for coming this evening.
Aaron needs to speak.
Okay, so just to clarify, the tentative award of the construction contract is for the construction only portion of the project. That is not the total project. So the numbers are going to also include legal fees, engineering fees, permits, bonds, inspection on the construction. So there are going to be other costs there that were included in the cost that you received on your petition. That is the correct number.
Okay, very good. Okay.
I just have one question.
Okay, we got it.
But I just want to know, what do you do with your septic tank and what you get this?
That's all part of the process is hooked up. You need to talk to Aaron. I'm not going to get into individual questions on this stuff. We're strictly trying to get through the installation of the main.
Call Aaron Potter.
Call Aaron, he'd be more than happy. Take the
Go through all of
time.
it with you guys.
You will learn
share some
more about
examples.
septic fields than you'll ever want to know.
You'll
Trust
be
me.
experts by the
Okay.
time you leave.
I've been around a long year, so I know about it.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Request to approve amended business plan development agreement for Walmart. Mr. O'Neill.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, board. This is a pretty straightforward request. On April 17th, the Planning Commission approved the amended final site plan for the Walmart store. You can see it on the screen here. And then recommended to you the approval of an amendment. It's actually the second amendment of the development agreement for the Walmart store. On the west side of the building, as you can see here, they're going to put a roughly 4,700 square foot addition. Oh, hold on a second.
Well, it's not really an addition, it's an enclosure of the existing.
It's both.
Right, yeah. We'll give them a minute to clear out.
No, I can't give them a formal notice of Excuse me.
Okay, so the 4,700 square foot enclosure is in addition to the building. So there's a garden center area, which you can, if you follow the screen, the arrow on the screen, that's currently part of their garden center, the outdoor area. They're going to enclose this portion here and then add, going back several square feet. I mean, if you look at this as a reference point, this air conditioning unit, and compare it here, you can see it goes just sort of beyond that rooftop air conditioner. So it's a 4,700 square foot, we're calling it building addition, is the easiest way to characterize it, on the west side of the building for grocery pickup. So, I mean, most stores these days have a pickup lane. You show up, you text them, you're there, I'm in space number 5, and they bring your groceries. So that's continuing to expand, and so in response to that demand, Walmart is going to enclose this area and, you know, put more focus on that kind of service for its customers. So, my mouse is not working. Okay, well, there we go. Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, so Lisa now drafts the development agreements, which is really a great thing. It's something that really cuts to the chase. She worked with the applicant's engineer, but also the applicant's attorney and then really the draft that goes to the planning commission doesn't need revisions. It needs blanks filled in that basically get filled in when you guys approve it, and there's a date to fill in, and the township supervisor and the township clerk sign lines that are, on the last page. Just very straightforward. Very glad. Just sorry we didn't do that sooner, Lisa. But again, there are some conditions on the approval that are very minor. Kim Cooper, representing Walmart, is here. She's with CESO, who's the engineer, not the architect on the building, and would probably be able to answer any questions you might have on this application and this proposal. But it's really in good order. And again, I would say if your motion would include some language that would allow the township attorney to finalize the document and then allow the supervisor and clerk to sign it, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. And then Walmart will move ahead with this small addition.
Any questions or comments from the board? That, seeing none, I'll make a motion to. Pardon?
I was gonna
I'm sorry.
make the motion like this.
Would the representative from Walmart like to say anything?
No, not really. I could tell. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion request to approve the amended plan business development agreement with Walmart.
And allow the
And allow the supervisor to execute any legal documents.
And attorney.
And the attorney
And the
review.
attorney to review.
Supervisor and clerk will both sign.
I'll support that.
Motion, support, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Unless you'd like to talk.
See, I could tell she didn't want to talk.
Less
Just ask
is
that.
best.
Okay, Resolution 25011, approving the residential refuse collection agreement with Priority Waste 2026 to 2032. I would like to certainly thank my deputy, Tricia, for her efforts and the tremendous amount of time that she put into this, and more things to talk trash about in the office, literally, and it's just interesting. Go ahead, Tricia.
Okay, Tricia Pergament, Deputy Supervisor. As you all know, our garbage contract is expiring at the end of this year. So we went out for a competitive bid, and we had 3 responses, one of which was a no bid letter. They showed up to the meeting to give us a no bid letter. That was from Waste Management. And then we had Priority. Dan Benet, our current provider, account manager, is here. And we had this Red Bull Sanitation, who I had never heard of. They just formed very recently, it looks like in April of 2025. I asked for a couple of scenarios, a 5-year and a 7-year. And I asked for keeping the current recycling bins that we use versus if we wanted to talk about going to a recycling cart. You can see highlighted in yellow that the 7-year, I'm recommending Priority, by the way, because Red Bull had very limited information about how they, so newly formed, could support us. They didn't bid on the hazardous waste event until Friday when I was out of town, and they now want to do the hazardous waste event at the same price. But that didn't really give me any time to vet them any further as a very new company. So knowing what we went through just with our last transition, I would recommend that we stay with our current provider. But we had a couple of decisions to make, and between a 5-year and a 7-year, and I think some people that I talked to are more in favor of the 7-year. The 7-year allows us to lock pricing in for 2 more years. With the way that the pricing has gone lately, that could be a good thing for us. And you can see, and I forgot my glasses, so I apologize, this is really small. But you can see with the 7-year contract, keeping the 18-gallon cart, they're at $20.15 a month per unit. And with the 7-year contract, if we decided to go to the recycling cart with 65-gallon wheeled cart, it would be $22.29 a month. Just a note that Waste Management in Lake Orion, they just recently won that business there. They don't do it through a special assessment the way we do. And but just to note that on the 7-year comparable one to Lake Orion, that priority is a little bit cheaper. So I'm just wanted to note that for comparison. So I'm not recommending carts or recommending, staying with bins. I leave that up to the board. But my recommendation would be to go with the 7-year because it's cheaper than the 5-year. And obviously Priority is interested in locking us in for longer, to the 7-year contract. And I brought Dan in case you guys had any questions with him about the pricing and any of that.
Well, I know you
So-
put a lot of work into this, and I know there was a lot going back and forth for a number of different things. I won't get into all of it. The question remains, though, as to whether or not we would make the 65-gallon cart, recycling cart, an option or as part of the bid.
Well, please note, they're willing to stay with the bins the way they are. I know some companies don't want to do that because they want it to be more efficient and they want the arm, but Priority's willing to leave it as is and leave it up to the resident to purchase the cart if they would like to. And I put that pricing in here as well. So that is not something that they're forcing or asking us to do. It was just because we've gotten requests in the past to look into it. So I wanted to have that be the board's decision. There is quite a bit of an increase, though, since the last contract, just due to all the inflation and everything and the cost of everything. So adding another $2 to it might not be great for people that are already having an increase of this size, so.
Okay, Mr. Roman?
Yeah, Trish, the resolution mentions that there's an agreement between White Lake and Priority Waste, but we don't see it in our packet.
The agreement was in the, it's our standard terms and conditions, and it was just really noting that they agreed to our terms and conditions, and they didn't have any objections. That's why the resolution. So when I put it all together, it'll get all put together afterward with the resolution and their contract.
Okay, so if we approve this, we should probably make it subject to attorney review.
It's already been reviewed. I worked on it with, Joe Allen and I noted any, issues that we didn't like from the other contract, especially some of the things that we went through last time with having it being so difficult to get out of the contract when we were struggling. So we made tweaks to make that a little more favorable to the township. If something were, let's say we had another transfer at some point, it would make it much easier for us to, not much easier, but easier for us to exit the contract than it was before. That was all done with attorney review. So, and I'm just noting that they have agreed to it and they have not taken objection to our terms.
Okay, questions for the board? Mr. Ruggles?
So if we were to go along with the, including the cart and the recycling cart, then we'd be making residents pay for it each year, correct?
Right, it would be rolled in, it would be an additional, I don't know, $2 and some odd change.
Yeah, I think personally, I'd just prefer to leave it up to the residents and not make them pay for it if they so choose.
I concur with that. I see that as when you have a resident that's already purchased a home and has the regular bin, you're going to double tax them. And I look at, we're a conservative board and I want to look out for the residents on that.
Well, Lynn, some of them have already bought carts, so, that puts us in a little bit of a pickle if they're really upset about having 2 carts. And, it would be difficult to figure that out because it's in an SAD.
So it's best to leave it up to the residents then.
I think that it's, at this point, it might be because we could end up getting into arguments with the assessing office and there's nothing we can do about backing that out of their tax at that point.
So it would be easier or more on it from an accounting standpoint to go this route for the residents, for accounting, for
It
assessing.
would be easier from a management standpoint after the fact.
Plus accounting. Because it sounds like it'd be an accounting nightmare.
But we wouldn't be able to reverse anything. It would be in the SAD, so it would really just be
But then you're double taxing
dissatisfaction.
people. Then to me, it would be double taxing.
That's the conundrum.
It's not really double taxing them. They're not getting a cart right now. The bins are the bins are there. They have the bins already.
So what I see before us is two options. We have option one and option two. I myself, I think, I'll share along with trustee Ruggles, for the residents, which makes most sense, because we're a conservative board, would go with option one, the 7-year contract with the 95-gallon refuse and staying with the 18-gallon recycling bins.
Yeah, well,
I also support that option.
Yeah, and the reason being is I had a resident point it out to me not too long ago as part of the conversation. They live alone. They generate a very small amount of recycling, and she really doesn't want to have another cart in her yard. And she gets that little thing out. Sometimes every 2 weeks it's full.
Plus, we'd spoken about HOAs too. A lot of HOAs will
We
not
require them to be in the
allow
garage.
that to
and
be
they-
out
mhm.
front, and they're very strict on that. And I sit on an HOA board along with Treasurer Roman, and I'm sure there's a few other board members, and it can be very sticky situation.
Yeah, they require them to be in the garage a lot of times, and then people are upset because they don't have room for cars and
I'm
bikes.
prepared to make a motion if the board's
I
ready.
just want to ask one other question.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes, like the option one, the thing is how did it come up from the standpoint that somebody wanted to have a covered or 65-gallon?
We get requests from residents that are unhappy with the bins because the recycling blows around the neighborhood. And so they're like, why can't we get carts? Well, they can if they purchase them, but that doesn't solve their problem of their neighbors not covering their bins. So it was really done as a option because some people have requested it, but that doesn't mean everyone's going to be happy with getting one. It just means some people requested it. So we looked into what would be the cost to do that.
Okay, so more of an idea of a convenience in the event if somebody wanted it as opposed
Well, more
to.
in the idea of, do we want to make the break and make everybody go to it or not? Because we can, and a lot of communities have, but it's difficult because of the way we did it. We gave them the option in the last contract to buy the cart. We didn't have any carts at that point. Now we've mixed it up a little bit where people have bought carts, and it makes it a little more
But you're
complicated.
giving us options, that's
Give
great.
us options.
So-
Awesome.
Dan, if you can throw it out, do you know how many of your clients or whatever else as far as townships use that?
Good evening, Dan Benet, Vice President Municipal Sales for Priority. We're at 45,000 River Ridge Drive, Clinton Township. I can try and extrapolate some data. Now, what I would have to do is go to GFL and ask them for what they have on record. I would venture to guess, this is kind of common, that your community is in the 50 to 55 percentile range for cart-based service when it's non-mandatory. That's kind of the rolling average. New homes, individuals that are younger are more familiar with a cart, and then you have the ones that have been in the township for an extended period of time, likely have not made that change because they've been status quo and it's been fine, and that's 40%. And then you have the ones that are like Mr. Colwell described that don't have enough that they would need a cart, so they never make that change. So that's, and some people would have two bins if they, instead of a larger cart, because easier to store, you can stack them.
Yeah.
So that would be my guess, just going off the cuff, about 50 to 55% have a cart, the remainder have the bins.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And that would make it more difficult, I think.
Yeah, the last go-around, we made it as an option. We did have quite a few people purchase them. At that time, they were around, I think, $65, I'm guessing. My wife made me purchase one.
Yep.
Because the little tote that she had, it often looked like the Eiffel Tower coming up out of it with all of the recycled stuff that she would get. And frankly, I got tired of picking up the crap off the yard when it would get knocked over from the wind or the dog or whatever. So we chose to do it. I think it's an option that people should, if they want to, and they want to be environmentally responsible, and they have that option to do it. It's not a big deal, and it's done and over with. I don't really want to force it on anybody in the sense because We do have some people that have some mobility issues. We have other people that just don't generate it. I mean, there's lots of reasons. And I really think people should have a choice. And if they want to, they can pay for it. And that's my opinion. I opt for option one, so.
Okay.
Somebody make a
Any other
recommendation.
questions?
All right, I would like to, before making a motion, I'd like to thank you for your hard work and dedication for this. Dave, too, our Director of Assessing, I know you helped in this and you were busy with HR and many tasks, so thank you for your hard work. To the Deputy Supervisor. And my motion would be, I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Supervisor, to amend the proposed resolution approving the waste collection contract with Priority Waste to authorize option one, which is a 7-year contract with a 95-gallon refuse cart and an 18-gallon recycling bin. This option includes 400 vehicles during our hazardous waste event at no additional charge. To additionally authorize the Township Supervisor to execute all legal documents of this agreement after reviewed by legal counsel.
That's a motion. I look for, I'll support.
It's already been reviewed by
Mr.
legal, though.
Anderson. Roll call vote, please.
What- I'm
Supervisor
sorry, wait.
Kowal?
Just one, what did you add?
I added that the contract's already been reviewed by legal.
Yeah.
This, your motion included Resolution 25-011.
25-0, look at it, yep, 25, resolution 25-010, sorry about that.
011.
It's 011.
Mine says 010, oh yeah, 011.
I'll still support it.
Okay. We have motion with support. Roll call vote.
Supervisor Kowal?
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Treasurer Roman?
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles?
Yes.
And Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item, this will be obviously reflecting this, Resolution 25010, tentatively declaring its intention to establish a special assessment district to be known as 2026-2032 Residential Refuse Collection Project in relation to resolution that we just passed. Any questions or comments from the board?
I have one. If I could.
Yes, David.
Just that I want to make it clear that we're setting the public hearing for the establishment on the June 17th meeting.
Yes.
And then I have a question. I've got a cost estimate to notify the taxpayers. It's slightly under $10,000. So I believe that Supervisor Kowal and neither Treasurer Roman or Clerk Noble can sign. Okay,
Yep.
so.
We're good to go.
Under 10,000.
Yep.
In the event it's over, it won't be. It was
Yeah.
close, but yeah, okay.
Well, we can add this motion in the event that it goes over 10,000 that the board approves it.
Yeah, if you would.
I'll add
has to
that,
approve
I'll add that to
over
the
10.
resolution, that in the event the public notification exceeds $10,000, it's a expenditure.
it will, but I
You'll
just-
notify the board of the
And
expenditure.
I'll be able to talk about it at the next.
That is my motion. Looking for support.
Support.
I have motion support. Roll call vote.
Supervisor Kowal?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Ruggle?
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees?
Yes.
Treasurer Roman?
Yes.
Very good.
Just want to thank Dave for all your work on this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Much
Thank you.
appreciated.
Yeah. Item F, 2025 OPEB employer contributions. Mr. Roman.
Yeah, it's that time again to consider putting more money into our retiree health care fund. If you look at the second page, there is an actuarially determined contribution of $448,000. We had budgeted for the general fund $135,000, water department $70,000, building department $50,000. One recommended change I made that I'm asking the board to approve is instead of asking police and fire to contribute, we're going to take some of the interest earned from our tax money that we've not distributed yet of $200,000. Reason being, police and fire were both asked to put in $500,000 each towards the new buildings, and rather than strain their budgets, we thought it might be a good idea to just take that out of the current tax account. With that, did anyone have any questions?
Chief, you okay with that?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you very much.
I didn't think you'd have a problem with that. Yeah.
We can still change it if you.
No, please.
Sure. That being said, I'll make a motion to approve the 2025 OPEB employer contribution.
I'll second that.
Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Independent consultant agreement, Mr. Powell. As Mr. Powell alluded to earlier, he was trying to work as an employee, and then Mr. O'Neill said, hey, I need him as a alternate. And there was a conflict under the way that the system is set up. So he tendered his resignation. I accepted it. And before you essentially is the agreement which Lisa has put her blessing upon, I should say. And just to keep it short and
Can
sweet.
you clarify alternate for what?
Zoning Board of Appeals.
Okay.
Or anywhere we care to place him on any board that is necessary, but in this particular case, the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Okay.
Okay. So, seeing as that leaves no conflict of interest, I'd like to, any other questions on this from the board members? Other than that, I'm looking for a motion.
I have a question. Quick question, clarification on the idea that it says an independent contractor. Is there specifically Mike Powell's going to be that person or somebody else within, from his firm? Because it says like his firm.
This is
So what?
Mike Powell.
Okay. So is it a reason why we don't say him? I'm just asking.
Insurance.
Insurance? Okay. And the other question is who established the $50 an hour?
That was established when he was an employee, okay? So we're just carrying the same wage.
Carrying the same wage.
Which is a bargain for an engineer.
Oh, yeah. That's why I was just trying to figure out
No, he's-
$50. Yeah.
You wanna up
it?
Well, no, I didn't. I was just trying to understand.
Mike is more into public service, and it was
Okay.
something that we
Well-
felt was fair and equitable,
Okay.
because you may not be totally aware of all the other goings-on that he's been
No,
involved with.
it's
So-
not the idea of the going-ons. It's the idea I value his service and everything else. So if all of a sudden he's going to do it for $50, that's great.
Yeah.
And the last question I had about this is that if his organization, the company, decides to have another individual work with him at the time, just for whatever they help out, assist, will that still be, that individual be paid $50 an hour, or it still be a flat $50 an hour, no matter who the resources are that you use?
We're only contracting him.
Okay, just wanted to be sure.
His personality is just the only one I can work with from his firm.
Okay.
Any questions or comments? Looking for a motion.
Motion to approve the independent contractor agreement between White Lake Township and Powell Engineering.
Support.
We have motion, we have support. All in favor? Aye. Let's have it. Thank you.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Now, Mike, your first job. Okay. Request consider proposal to demolish the old cinder block building down in Stanley Park, which is and has been part of the park plan. And as you all know, that in the most recent grant application that we applied for, we got some wild numbers on that building for replacement. And we've also had some review work done in the past that showed that the building was indeed salvageable, which is why it wasn't torn down the first time. So the question becomes whether or not we proceed. We have 3 bids. One of them was 95 and some change. Hang on. We have one bid for 95, 90, 20 from basically Cordes Brothers, who are currently working on site through McCarthy and Smith. We have another one from R.J. Hoffman, which was
Out of control.
$5,700. And then we have another one, which is from Milford Contracting for $5,476. So if it's to be let, Milford Contracting would be the winner of the contract. Now, the question is that there's been conversation back and forth on this. Now, I have it be understood that if the building is not, or is not practical to be rebuilt, I'm a proponent of removing it. There's no question. However, there was conversation at a previous board meeting that Mr. Ruggles and I would like that opportunity to make that determination. And Mr. Powell has also offered to assist as a structural engineer. So, and then I also received a recent correspondence from Aaron Phillips. It says, Rick, following further investigation, I believe the existing structure at Stanley Park appears to be salvageable. However, I want to note there are some strong likelihood that selective CMU, which is cinder block, repairs will be required along with perimeter walls, additionally some form of wall reinforcement, such as a bond beam may be necessary to ensure proper structural integrity and final tie-ins. All of those elements would be elements that would be done irregardless they're kind of like the obvious, and he just kind of called out the obvious. So he felt that there is merit in salvaging that, and there's some cost to that. If you were to replace that particular amount of foundation and block, you're probably somewhere in the $60,000 range, back and forth. I would really recommend to this board that we keep the bid for demo in our pocket, that we take a period of time to do an honest evaluation of the building and see whether or not it's worth saving. If it is, fine, let's take a look at some possibly preliminary budget. The one we got from Aaron Phillips knocked us right out of our chairs. $750,000 for a fairly small building, I thought was a really big number. And that we could take a look at it and put a budget together as to what we may be able to do this for locally sourced. And I think that we at least should have, this board should at least have that opportunity to do that and see if we can save the township a little bit of money and move forward. The structure itself is located on the plan for Stanley Park in the exact area that the plan calls for a building to be. So there's no necessity of moving it. It's not going to, there's no effect or cause or effect to move the building in any manner, shape, or form. If we find after that the discovery on the building, a little closer look to it, if we discover that we don't think it's economically feasible, I'll be the first one to say tear it down. So, but I think we should take at least the due diligence to look at it. I'm not, everybody has their opinion, but that's mine. I'd rather see if we do something. Yes, Mr. Powell.
So before we dive in, then why are we putting the cart before the horse here? Why do we have that on the agenda tonight if that's what you want to do?
Not me. I didn't put it on the agenda.
Okay.
Mr. Powell.
Yes, Board, I'm not in favor of eliminating potential assets in the township without looking at all the aspects of it. I want to remind the board that the Township Board approved the demolition of a home that was scheduled to be demolished, and the dangerous building hearing officer requested the board for it to be demolished. Came before the board. Board authorized it to be demolished, but the company that was hired to demolish it saw the value in it. He paid off all the fines, paid off all the back taxes, purchased it, and built it, and made it a very big profit over a structure that this board, the board, authorized to be taken down. I don't want that same mistake done on an asset that the township actually owns. I would certainly like the opportunity to evaluate it as a structural engineer, provide a letter to the supervisor, to the board, and if it's salvageable, then at least you'll go into the decision aware of the different options and the potential cost. And it was just a recommendation from me to the board.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Powell?
I have a question. You're talking about, you've gone down there and seen the facility? Have you looked at it?
2 years ago, I was down there, looked at it, very tertiary. We didn't have a floor plan, we didn't have any use. As 2 years ago, it was just a structure there. I think that it'd be very valuable to look at it for its intended use now and the potential of the different use, potentially having some backfill against it. You have to look at all those items to evaluate it, and I think it's premature, in my opinion, for the board to make a decision tonight.
I've got something to add. I did have a conversation with Aaron from McCarthy and Smith, and we're talking about the height of where that building is, and if we were to tear that down, that would be an excellent place for pickleball courts down the road because of the height and because it's very marshy in that area. So I think that would be an excellent place if we were to tear that down to put those pickleball courts, because that seems to a lot of people that I speak with in the township would use those, as we talked prior board meetings about the ones in Commerce that are constantly being used. So that was my question to him today. And, you know, he said, basically, do you want to spend the money or you don't want to spend the money? And he was kind of, you know, on the fence about it, but he gave two options. I like that we have that elevation there, and that if we do decide to tear it down, we can have an option to put those courts up there if that's what the board desires down the road.
Well, I just designed 4 pickleball courts for the Village Wolverine Lake, and so I would have no problem making a recommendation to see if it could be done in that area. Soils, slope, all of that stuff makes an impact on the usability for a pickleball area, and I'd be more than happy to.
Is your fee less than the engineering, the Powell engineering fee? Should we hire you or the engineering firm?
Great question. Right now, the township has just approved 1/3 of what my normal fee is, so.
Are you charging us right now?
I don't know the answer to that yet.
That's well.
That contract hasn't been signed yet.
Right.
That's
so
right.
I think-
He's free. One of the things I ended up, because I knew this was on the agenda, I went down and looked at the building. You know, to me, as far as my years in the commercial interiors industry and building buildings and doing everything, I don't see the value as far as for that building, you know, especially if you want to do something that's new. And we're spending all this money for, you know, the new township hall and everything else. Everything else is going to be new. To me, that seems like trying to go ahead and put something on it. What's the term that they always use?
Stick on a peg?
Yes. So, I mean, to me, it's better to go ahead and start fresh, you know, from that standpoint.
When I looked at it last, it looked like that was the skeleton of a usable building. Obviously, anything that you complete would have finishes on all that, and so you would. I'm just making a recommendation to the board that I could go out and take a look at it, and we could then come back with proposals for the board.
No. Well, I looked at it, and it's got holes in the cinder blocks. The cinder blocks are cracked as far as the entrance area. The fissure board on the top, as far as the wood, is already, you know, falling apart. It's rotted out from that standpoint. So that's what I saw.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
from that
totally up to the
standpoint.
board, and yes.
And Mike?
Oh, go, you done, Steve?
Yeah, because I was going to make a motion.
So I got a little different opinion from McCarthy Smith in my discussion. I know Sean was there. We were told by Aaron Phillips that, yeah, maybe it's you can renovate that building, but the cost to renovate is going to be significantly more than if you tear it down and start from scratch. That's per Aaron Phillips. He's told us that on numerous occasions. Also, he mentioned that we would then be forced to use the same footprint as where the building sits right now, which didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The other thing that Clerk Noble mentioned was that building is on a beautiful piece of high ground, and it may very well be a perfect spot for pickleball courts.
Just going what Aaron had spoke
So
about the height of
that's what I had gotten from Aaron Phillips. So again, I'm not arguing that you couldn't renovate that building, but it's gonna come down to money, and why lock ourselves into one footprint when we don't need to?
Are you finished, Mike?
I'm sorry?
Are you finished?
Yes.
So I have very similar feelings as to the footprint. There's so much marsh and wetlands and things like that. This might be our only chance to optimize our uses for the park and create recreation there. So if we could potentially put in courts here and then the bathrooms could be elsewhere. I understand the bathrooms have to be close enough for hookups and utilities and all that stuff, but we might be able to really optimize the most that we possibly can to offer our residents by, shifting this building or moving it somewhere else and putting a court there. And because this does happen to be, one of the really only flat areas towards the top of the park. So I would be in favor of exploring using that particular area for courts or recreation and shifting the bathroom somewhere else.
And I think from the standpoint of, here's.
And I am super familiar with this building. I've looked at it many, many times, and it is in rough shape. And I think it was last used for like dog kennels and things like that in it.
Didn't you say that, Director O'Neill? There was dog kennels before?
There's definitely dog
I
kennels.
have heard
in
that,
it.
and it appears that that's where those openings are on the blocks, but I've never seen it.
Years
Never
ago.
seen it used that
So,
way, but yeah.
I think the thing that I was saying is that we want to try to go ahead and respond to what the residents want based on recreational situations, based on the idea that we can add some value to, the recreational facilities. So it seems like we're building everything for us. And when I say us, I mean the township office and everything else. So this would be a great opportunity to go ahead and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. So I want to go ahead and make a motion.
We are not building
There's still
anything for
discussion.
us.
No, but I'm just saying is that, we can be able to go ahead and, if it dies from the idea of lack of a second, then we can go ahead and have.
We're not done with conversation. Andrew
No,
would
you
like
can have a motion and you can have discussion on the motion. So if I put out the motion, you can still have discussion. It's not the idea that we're voting or calling question. It's the idea of motions out there so that we can move forward. So I'm going to make a motion that said to request to demolish and haul away the cinder block building located in Stanley Park by approving the lowest bid by Milford Contracting to not to exceed $5,476. So that's a motion.
So for discussion, Hannah, I would like specifically on the record that,
It should be supported before
oh,
discussion.
I'm sorry.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Anthony.
Now we can have
Now
discussion.
discussion.
I specifically don't agree with the statement that trustee Anderson made. We are not building those buildings for us. We are building those to serve our residents. And it's really important to me that we listen to our residents, and we have heard loud and clear that they want recreation at this park. So any chance that we can get to incorporate that, we need to be looking at and exploring at least.
Mr. Ruggles.
Mike, how would you be able to tell if the footings are in good shape or if they're even there without some
there's-
serious investigation?
Yeah, there's two ways that I would go about doing that. First of all, you have to determine the depth of the footings, and that'll determine the thickness of the footings as well.
So you got to dig.
And, well, dig vertically down adjacent to them, and then probably use a probe that I have for underneath this, make sure there's no voids under those footings. So that's how I would start that. And are we going to be backfilling against that wall, those walls at all, in the proposed new layout? Those are the kind of ideas, things that I'd be looking for.
So you'd have to get an excavator out there to dig down?
No, I'd probably try it with a shovel, because you don't have to, unless they're 3 or 4 feet down, just a shovel should be able to determine the depth, whether they're frost sufficient or not.
The only thing I would say, with this existing old structure, then you're stuck with the footprint, you're stuck with the spot, so it's restrictive,
Right.
And it is there, and I guess in theory, it's got some value, but, I was there today, and we've all seen it, it is what it is. And that type of construction, cinder block, if you would even want that for a building, you know, it's another conversation, but it's old and it's, you know, needs a lot of repair.
So the thing is one of the parts of this equation that we have yet to address here, and that is the plan that we have submitted to the state for our grant shows that building where it is and shows that there is a request for monies to be used to either repair or replace that building, which I don't have a problem with, in that specific location, which the road has been already engineered around and will be installed around, and any utilities that go down there have been calculated into that particular area already as part of this construction. And there's a little matter of which this board is now going into deciding what to do with a park plan before even talking to Park and Rec. And I don't think that's right. I think this should be going to Park and Rec. Park and Rec should have some input on this because that's why we have them. And, you know, a little bit of time to see whether or not it's worth saving, again, is just a matter of a little bit of due diligence. It wouldn't take that long to figure it out and move from there. I just find it really odd. You worry about some money being spent over here, but you're willing to throw away $60,000 plus over here. I find that very puzzling. So I just think you need to do a little bit more due diligence. And again, if it's not sufficient, I am a licensed contractor in the state of Michigan. I'm probably the only licensed contractor sitting on this board. I've practiced for 40 years. I've built buildings from the size of a doghouse to thousands and thousands and thousands of square feet. So I have a lot of practical experience in the field, and I am still currently licensed, okay? And I have probably as much practical experience when it comes to construction as Mr. Powell does. And his engineering experience exceeds mine, but I've got a pretty good eye because of my physical application that I've done. And I've even surprised him a couple of times, okay? So all I'm asking for is I'm not saying to the board, no, I'm just saying, let's do our homework, you know, and get the homework done, figure it out, look at potentially an alternate location before we tear the building down as to where it would go. Because if you tore the building down and the park is done, you don't have bathroom facility 1 down there.
But I think there's room for both. I think there's room, you know, the bathroom doesn't have to be exactly there. It could be in the general area and vicinity.
And Liz, that should be looked into, okay? And we need to figure out where that's going to go.
My concern is just saying, I agree with her, we can put the bathrooms there, but as time goes on, cost goes up. We got a great quote to knock this down. I think we're all in agreement, the majority is that we need to tear this down. And
As your
question,
as your Parks and Rec meeting, I agree. I think it should come before Parks and Rec lays on our June 14th. I don't know the exact date. I just know it's here at we're going to Parks this summer and having our meetings at Parks. You guys are all invited. You're allowed to reach out. I guess I see the vision of that building. I can see a refreshment stand at the back. I can see bathrooms at the front. And I don't want the money to come out of the Parks and Rec's budget for it to be torn down. We have you never know.
Do we know the square footage of this building?
It's like 28 by 78 or something like that.
I've been down there too. It's been 6 months. I haven't been down there this year, but it was in decent shape.
28 by 78.
I mean, I know winter takes 6 months is a lot, but last time I was down there, it
About
was decent.
2,200 square feet.
Yeah, but I think it needs to be before, I agree. I think this could almost be tabled and brought before Parks and Rec at our next
I mean,
meeting.
that's much bigger than what we had intended.
I'll make sure it's on the agenda.
Well, that's not just restrooms. It's also storage for all the park implements. It's for the lawnmowers, it's for the tractor, it's for all the other equipment that's going to be down
Well, the
for the main.
board wasn't in full support of that since we
we weren't going to use
the
it
whole-
as storage facility.
Yeah, the board wasn't in full support of having storage there or not. And with costs of things going up, I think we probably should move ahead and with tearing this down because it gives us the most opportunities to put in the most things for our residents there. This limits us to this exact footprint. And if it's gone, then we have an open space to design the most that we possibly can to serve our residents in that spot.
We have a motion on the table.
Motion on the
I'd like to call
table.
the que- I
and
just would
I've
like to
called for
call the question.
That's
I've called for
fine.
question.
In the meantime, we're going to hear from the public. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Identify yourself first. We don't know who you are.
It's our Sergeant of Arms.
Not with that round leaf.
So you're sitting with them.
Yeah.
That's only because someone took our seats. Mary Early, 5925 Pine Ridge Court. I'm in favor of demolishing this. There's going to need to be a lot of work done. You're going to have to run sewage to it. You're going to have to run water to it, which means you're going to be breaking up all the flooring in it anyway. We have our annual meetings across the street at the old community hall, and we have to get tables and chairs out when we're there. And they're all piled in that little tiny closet. They're hard to get to. And then we have to put them all away when we're finished. So you're talking about a building where you're going to have tractors and all kinds of other equipment. There'll probably be some tables and chairs there if you're going to have a concession stand. If there's going to be an amphitheater, you'll probably have some seating that you'll be using. So rather than cramming everything in, why not start with a nice new floor with the plumbing and a place for storage where you can actually get to things? Otherwise, someone may have to drive a tractor out to get to the chairs, whatever. Anyway, I'm in favor of demolishing it.
It doesn't even
However,
have a floor,
I
Mary.
think it should go to the Parks Department again for another discussion.
Thank you.
I think this is a good bid.
Gonna call the question.
You have a question?
No, I called for question.
Call for question means we got to vote.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that part. Okay,
Roll call vote, I guess.
Trustee Voorhees,
No.
Trustee Anderson,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Supervisor Kowal,
No.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Ruggles,
It's a tough one. Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Thanks
Motion
for having
carries.
confidence in your Parks and Recs people, you guys.
Okay. Request to
Candidate can
approve,
be put on the record too.
request to approve marine agreement between Oakland County and White Lake Township. Any questions or comments on that? We've done this
Same mold, right? We've
many,
been doing this
nothing
for.
new. Yeah.
You probably could just explain it real quick for the public, Rick, at the.
This is a marine agreement for Pontiac Lake for patrol for the lake in the summer months to provide protection and instruction and education for individuals who are boating on the lake. Questions or comments on the board?
Now I'd like to make a motion to request approved marine patrol agreement between Oakland County and White Lake Township 20-25-2030.
As someone that,
I have motion support, all in
I
favor?
just have a comment. Thank you for
Aye.
doing
Opposed?
this.
Ayes have it. Request to approve Miller Canfield Bond Council engagement letter for special assessment bonds for Round Lake Sewer SAD.
Yep, so we went out and contacted Miller Campfield, very reputable law firm in these parts, to act as bond counsel for the Round Lake Southwest SAD. Lisa did review it. One question, should there be a place for us to sign, or maybe we just initial, I guess, huh?
So, I mean, generally, we don't have to have a contract, but you can accept it.
Yeah.
Formally accept
Approve the
it.
letter of engagement.
Okay, do you want to, so I'll make a motion to accept this and have Rick sign off on it. Maybe you can initial it or sign it.
I'll support.
We have motion support.
I have a question.
What question?
Yeah, Mike, do you, is this with the intent to continue to use them in the future
So.
after this project?
So we can discuss that at a later time, but, every time we do an SAD and we need a bond issue, it's a separate contract. So it's not as if,
Like me.
we're required to use the same bond counsel each time.
Yeah,
But we can certainly consider that.
Okay.
I had a question. Since they will actually not be employees as far as White Lake Township and there's a contract, we're not held liable for anything that wrongdoings or whatever else that happens, correct?
I'm not sure I understand your
Yeah. Well,
question, Steve.
so-
Are you talking about the bond? Or,
No, I was talking about the idea, the marine deal that we're talking about.
oh, you're on
that-
I. Okay,
yeah.
you're on the marine deal.
Yeah, sorry.
Marine deal's gone already. Done and over with.
I know, I'm sorry, I just wanted to get a clarification on it.
What is your question?
Question is that, so they will go ahead and be like writing tickets or whatever else.
That's what they do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So if for some reason somebody gets upset or whatever else, since they're contracted by us, they don't come back to us. They handle to the county, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay, that's what-
county,
This is the sheriff's department that's doing that.
That's what I'm just getting a clarification.
No, you'll still get residents that are mad at us because they get a ticket.
Right.
I mean, I've heard residents.
What you gotta remember, Trustee Anderson, is that the lake is gonna be controlled by the DNR.
Okay.
So, correct, Chief Keller?
so
So once you
we-
get into lake, it would be DNR. That's who controls lake.
Sheriff's Department acts as
As-
the enforcement arm.
I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to ask that question before we
Okay.
went
I thought
through
you
the
were
process.
asking that about Miller Canfield, and I was.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So back to Miller Canfield now, where we get caught up here. What was there in it you want to approve this, Mike?
Yeah, did we
And you
vote
want?
on it?
Yeah, I know,
voted.
but I'm just making sure, just in case somebody didn't hear something, okay, or they weren't listening down there, okay? That Miller
I wasn't
Canfield.
recognized
well,
when that came up and I raised my hand, I said I had a question.
All right.
What's that?
So nonetheless.
Yeah, did we vote, we did vote on Miller Canfield, correct?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I agree.
No, you did not. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Miller Canfield passes. Thank you. Okay, cost participation, right away at Pontiac Lake Road. You're looking at this going, why are we seeing this again? We're seeing this again because Oakland County botched the last document. I don't know how to put it any other way. So we approved the last document. It went out, went back to Oakland County, and about 10 days ago, there's been a change in some personnel at Oakland County. One of the gentlemen that we dealt with down there retired, and I think somebody put the I and the T in the wrong spot. They notified Trish. Trish received the proper documentation, and now this is basically the same agreement.
I didn't, but it's a standard agreement. I saw it in the packet.
Yep.
They're non-negotiable. I
Yeah,
just
you don't
didn't- it
negotiate with the
didn't-
county.
It didn't highlight what the changes are from the previous version, though. That was the only thing I wasn't clear on.
I'll make a motion to approve the cost participation agreement for the right-of-way acquisition.
Thank you. I will support that. Roll call vote.
Supervisor Kowal?
Yes?
Treasurer Roman?
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
And Trustee Ruggles?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Civic Center update. If, for those of you who may have not been out there lately, most of the lower level structural steel is up on the Township Hall. The decking is actually going in. On the Public Safety Building, all the foundation work is completed. The structural steel roof is in on the gun range. And Michael, what else do you want to talk about?
No, we're making some great progress. I think they started down in Stanley Park as well. I know, Sean, what else to say?
I think Rick summarized it pretty well. We've got a meeting tomorrow morning regarding public safety and some of the site work. Just finishing up, ironing out the issues with the timber frame construction. They're very close on that. I think that's moving in the right direction on Township Hall. Obviously, we all know about the floor drain system that was approved for public safety. We're working with the landscaper who has all the trees in his nursery now to plant for our site. If we get far enough along in site work this fall, then he'll plant them. Otherwise, he'll wait till the spring. And I think we're all kind of the opinion, don't rush it. We want everything to go in and not be destroyed by, construction going on around it, because the warranty won't cover something that gets run over by a bulldozer. So, I think things are going, pretty well right now. I know we've got a couple potential change orders we're going to talk about tomorrow for public safety, but just most of it's just normal stuff. I know there's one larger one that you'll probably see at your next meeting, if not sooner, regarding the electric conduit from the DTE service to the building. I don't know if you guys in the committee remember that. We've been talking about it for the last couple months. It's a bigger change order. I think it's $160,000 for public safety. I think the conduit went in, but nobody quoted the pulling of the wire in it. So I don't know how that's going to hit the contingency budgets, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. So, but it's big enough to where it's got to come back to the board. So don't have a ton of details, but I will after tomorrow.
How do you miss wire?
Good question. I don't know.
Where you get your gerbil with a flywheel, okay?
I actually think that two groups were quoting it, thinking the other one may have been
One
including
right
it,
hand, left
and it was
hand,
just a
yeah.
seam. So, the good news is it's not an additional charge. It's something that would have been in one quote or the other. But we'll learn more about that. I mean, it's just really a heads up. I don't want to drop that bomb on you tonight, but that's just where we're at with that. So we'll learn more about that tomorrow, and then next time we meet, if not sooner, we'll have more
Okay.
details.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Trustee comments. Andrea?
May was a very historical month, even though it's not over, it's a very historical month for White Lake Township. Not only are we losing our most tenured fire chief, which is sad to see, we have made history with him being seniority-wise and his time here. And then we saw earlier where our first female command was signed or sworn in tonight. Super excited from a female's perspective that White Lake has that diversity in their police department. And everyone have a great holiday. Drive safe.
Okay. Mr. Roman?
Thanks to the Earlys for coming out to the meeting again. And it's great to be part of this board.
Mr. Anderson?
Well, I just want to give thanks to Aaron Potter, who provided me with a wealth of knowledge about our water system and site visits to all the wellheads and the pump stations for a half a day. He took it out of his time because I'd asked about him, and he made scheduled time for be able to do it. I'm just at almost what Trustee Smith said, is that I'm happy to know that we have someone in this township and or whatever else with the amount of knowledge that he has that he can provide to our team. So again, kudos to you. With regard to ZBA, offer an invitation on May 22nd for people to come out for the ZBA. We will be reviewing 5 cases, and then hoping everyone will have a safe and enjoyable Memorial Day.
Very good. Mr. Ruggles?
Thank you. The Planning Commission meeting on the 15th was canceled. Our next meeting is going to be on June 5th. And I'd just like to take a minute to say thanks to John Holland for all of his time here at White Lake Township. He's done a great job in every role that he's been in. I've enjoyed working with him. Ton of knowledge, really tries hard. But I will say that after he's gone, I'm going to see about making an amendment to the fire code, see if we can burn a 2x4 in White Lake Township again. So it's one thing that him and I never agreed on.
I remember that meeting well.
But thanks, John Holland.
Household materials, buddy. You can't be burning your shingles. Okay, Mr.
Dimensional
Noble.
Recently, we just had Police Week, and I'd just like to take a moment of silence. Tragically, we had Deputy Reckling that was killed in the line of duty working an undercover auto theft that led himself and the other people in that unit into Detroit, where he was tragically killed in line of duty. He was out with the deputies from Oakland County Sheriff, with Sheriff Bouchard, honoring. It's a spot that you do not want your name on, like the Vietnam Memorial and the Police Memorial. It's a wall out in DC. I encourage anybody to go by those 2 monument. So I'd just like to take a moment of silence in honor of all the fallen police officers for Police Week. Thank you. And then I would also like to acknowledge and thank Deputy Supervisor Pergament for extending our garbage contract with the rate of prices going up through the years and working diligently. As you know, we've had some retirements and I think our fire chief for 40-plus years of service. I think he beat your dad, Andrea.
He did.
Yep.
I told him that when I hugged him. I said, thanks for beating my dad.
Thank you.
Trustee Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I would like to thank the library for recognizing me at their volunteer appreciation breakfast. It was a wonderful turnout. It was fantastic to see a full room full of volunteers. That's what makes the library special, and so many people that are passionate and contribute to programming and helping with everything from landscaping to book sales. And it was wonderful to see a full room of volunteers from our community. And so I want to thank all those people that attended the breakfast as well. I also wanted to mention Police Week, which was last week, May 11th through the 17th. And I'd like to thank all police officers who serve, including Anthony, a retired police officer, and all of our current White Lake Township outstanding officers. And then I believe before our June meeting, we'll have a police open house. Chief, what is the date on that?
June 8th.
June 8th, I'm sorry.
June 8th. June 8th, that's so much fun, so I'd, encourage all residents to come out to that. And it's a fantastic experience for all ages. It's always great. And then I wanted to also echo, Andrea took the words out of my mouth, we made history tonight, and then I want to congratulate again Sergeant Jessica Snow. She is outstanding. She's been, as Chief mentioned, been recognized so many times throughout the years for outstanding police work, and I'm so happy for her and honored that we have our first woman sergeant in White Lake Township. I want to thank John Holland. I wish that there was a tribute or something more for him tonight. He deserved tremendous recognition, not only as chief and a leader. He's done so much in his time as chief and being the longest employee in history of White Lake Township. And I could go on and on about him. So thank you, Chief Holland, for your incredible service and commitment to our township. And I believe that's it for tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to thank my deputy, Trish Pergament, for her attention to detail and her commitment to this community and really trying to make things work well. She's been juggling a lot of balls. We now have Robin, who is our new HR person. And I'd like to do a little shout out to Sherry in the building department, who is in recovery, and we hope to see you very, very soon.
Recent birthday, too.
Pardon?
Recent birthday.
Yeah, recent birthday. Yeah. So things are good. So we'll keep moving forward. And with that, I'll say, good night, God bless, and motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion, support, all in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.